I'm here with Cesar Keller of Simple Flame. And Cesar, we've talked a little bit about the difference between just a static brochure website and an actual online business, a website that serves your business and contributes to the funnel and the revenue of your business. So here's the question. How do you prepare? How do you develop? What are the steps that a person has to take to properly execute a actual online business with their website?
Right. So like any other good consultant that you talk to, it starts with a really focused plan. And it's just really at the basis of trying to understand what you're trying to accomplish. There's so many ways to leverage what a website can do to help you that, from business to business, it could just be different. So understanding, do I want to sell online? Do I want to automate process? Do I want to increase my brand? Do I want to do a combination of all of those things? And really pinning down who you want to interact with.
Yes.
Too many companies, immediately you ask them, what's the ideal candidate for you to, have a customer to close that deal? And they immediately start spitting out general demographics. Well, it's someone between the age of 18 and 55 with this income. It could be a male or it could be a female. It's just so generic. It's hard to pinpoint everything.
Yes.
But if you really start asking the tough questions of, let's segment those demographics down into personas.
Yes.
Let's really identify, these are the problems for these people. These are the problems for these people. And here's how I can solve these particular problems. And knowing how to speak to all those individual personas.
Yes.
So then when they get to the website, they're like, oh my gosh, you're talking to me. That totally makes sense.
Yes.
You're going to start making a connection way quicker. So thinking about personas and who you're interacting with and starting to create landing pages for those particular people starts helping you with the sitemap. And then the conversions that you want to have when people come to your website, you can start going, okay, there is a little step-by-step that I have to take them through. And I know that if they go through these multiple touch points, the chances of me closing and my ratio is going to be way better than if I just hit them with a one-time message.
Yes.
So that really starts defining the steps, the people, and the areas to start making decisions on how do we even begin to build something that's going to help me through that process. Yeah. So I'd say that planning is such a huge critical step.
I've heard discussion about personas before, and some of what I think I've even heard you talk about this, about actually giving each persona a name. So this is George. Here's how old George is. He has this kind of a job. He's got this family. And so actually you're creating an actual person, as you described, and so then you can begin to think through their set of needs and their life experience. And don't you think it's far more constructive to do business that way when you're thinking about your customers as actual people whose needs you're meeting? So the personas is a step. What are some of the other steps that you need to go through before you?
I break it down into four main categories because there's a lot of decisions to make with how you're going to build your website.
Okay.
The first one is credibility. You have one chance to make an impression, and it better be a good one. Right now, if you think about, the Google is the yellow pages in the past. Yes. And that is, our consumers are getting so much smarter because they have information at their fingertips, right? Yes. So when you start looking at, I'm going to do business with someone or I'm going to spend money somewhere, I might pull up 3, 4, 5 different websites to find the best deal, the best price, the best set of cultures and values that I believe in to be able to pick that particular website. So if you don't have the branding and the credibility to at least pass that first test, you've already failed. Yep. So doing a little research and understanding, I have to look the part and this is what that means, that's part one. The second part is management. You have to understand, okay, in order for me to compete in this world that's very competitive with all these websites trying to get the results on the multiple search engines, what kind of content am I going to have to put out? How much content am I going to have to put out? What vehicles and what avenues, whether it's social or through my website and variations of content, do I need to prepare for? But most importantly, who's going to do it? Is it going to be people that are technical? Is it going to be just business people that know how to use a system? You better pick the right technology for that to actually be something that gets done. Because if you pick a technology that's too difficult, like everything, if it's too hard, we just give up, right?
Yes.
So we have to make sure, hey, here's the expectations of what we have to do. By the way, who's going to do it and sign up to do it? And are we matching up their skill sets with the right technology?
Right.
So management is a huge, important issue. And the last two are leads and sales. And this is where business owners really key in. And that's, I want to track leads coming through my website. So what kind of mechanisms do I need to put in place so I don't lose those opportunities? I'm working extremely difficult and hard to get the traffic coming in, but if it's just emails, email can go down. Email can get lost. Email
Yes.
can go into a junk mail filter. So what are we going to do as far as managing that? Well, there are certain systems in place that you can, put that there. So you can create those workflows so you don't lose those particular opportunities.
Yeah.
And the last one is sales. A lot of people think e-commerce only goes one way. There's multiple ways to handle transactions through a website and actually create an income opportunity for yourself. And those can vary anywhere from just selling widgets online through e-commerce to accepting donations to setting up like gifts for you to come in, just paying out invoices, or having people log in to pay for it. So there's just different variations there that you have to really consider to be able to make the best decision on. Man, if I put all these things into place, connect all these dots, I'm going to really have a great website that's going to help me with my initiatives.
Cesar, here's what comes to mind as you talk about all these different steps. The days of having a successful website where you just pick a color and pick a font and say, that looks nice, put a couple pictures on there, that's really not going to do anything for you anymore. So one thing I hear you saying is that when you prepare to build a new website, you have to take a long view. You have to do some planning, look out ahead, and then something else that I think about is that marketing and operations are connected. You talked about the who's going to develop that content. And so it's really a much bigger proposition now than it was 20 years ago. But by taking these steps that you just talked about, you're far more likely to build a website that's going to genuinely contribute to your business week in and week out. Is that right?
I think, taking the considerations at those high levels will give you the best shot at going, here's the type of website that I need, here's what I'm going to get out of it, and I feel comfortable spending that investment.
That's right. Well, Cesar, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.